woke up this morning, my chest was feeling tight. I'm like, what is going on? It's just, I can feel it's like an energy pull. And so I was doing
Yeah,
clearings on myself this morning and I'm going to do another one later today.
yeah. Now, and we're here with Jessica Meils, and she fantastic. I I I just connected with the energy through Lynn, and I am so honored because you do such a beautiful work, and I know what it is to be a seer and to download. I did it since little because I was born very much with that, and also I grew up with shamans in Peru and the Amazon. Um, it can be a lot for us right now,
Hmm. Absolutely.
right? I was
Hmm.
telling my husband, I said, I feel, because he said, you kind of off. And I said, yeah, I've been, the last week and a half, a lot of the people, the seers, the people that, we doing the light work, we've been in a funny place, no, Jessica?
Oh no, I agree. I mean, I don't know if Lynn shared with you, but I took quite some time off this last year because I got the download for myself. Like, okay, you've been holding space for like 9 consecutive years. It's time for you to shut down for a little bit. And I was like, what? And so I was like, okay, let me just honor that. And I'm glad that I did, but re-entering it's like, oh, okay, this is a different frequency. And it's a reminder of like how important it is for us as like space holders to really take that time to ourselves and also integrate and not be so available to every little thing, you know?
Oh yeah, I realized, in between, because I'm in clinical hypnotherapy, any clinical school is pretty intense, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it for upgrading my knowledge, and also because I work a lot with suicidal children. Yeah, and veterans, and yesterday on it was this little one. So I want to be able to kind of not feel comfortable in my knowledge and to upgrade and see, oh, what is divine sending me? What is that they telling me? So I listen and I completely listen. They tell me to do something I don't question.
Hmm. Yeah. I didn't know that you were holding such space. That's incredible. You know, I
Yeah.
think we need more people stepping forward and holding the space for. I have
Mm-hmm.
another elder who also lives in New Mexico, and he holds space for veterans as well and young indigenous children that are unfortunately questioning themselves and being here in the physical world. And so, yeah, thank you for doing that work because we need it
Oof.
so, so
It's
desperately.
so necessary, New Mexico is lovely, but I don't like saying but I did. Um, it's a lot of poverty, it's a lot of hunger, and the children that I work with, they either in the hands of the government or um, foster home because you got to remove them from the environment because they can move on, and it's such a fine line. Uh, I know, and I saw that you got your connection to all these channels and when you were pregnant with your little girl, right?
Hmm. Yeah, like being like a child, I always like felt things or, just I would say I would know things, but I didn't really classify it as like psychic or mediumship. I would have never called it that, but I was raised in a home where it was a mix. Like my mom had a very strong faith. And then my dad always spoke of intuition, like trust your gut. And so for myself, like I always had that like strong instinct or intuition. I didn't always trust it, of course, but it was always sort of there. And when I look back at my childhood and just the things that would sort of get me to alter or whatever, it was always like a voice that would come into my head that I can definitely classify now as like, oh, that was definitely guides that were like saying, hey, maybe don't make that choice or to make that right turn or make that left turn. But when I had my daughter, something changed. I mean, it was like undeniable for sure. And I think I got to witness her as she started growing up, started walking and talking, and I started remembering myself. Oh my gosh, I used to do the same thing. She would, looking at the corners of the walls and saying hi to everybody and just, things like that. And it was like, oh my gosh, like, holy moly, I remember this feeling, but still not calling it psychic or mediumship or anything like that because I always believed in something greater than me. I always believed that there was life after death. I always believed that my loved ones continued on. But eventually, over time, it was after the birth of my son, my husband, he had a surf accident that I thought at the time, I used the word jinxed it because I knew something terrible was going to happen to him. And the next morning he was in this surf accident, which thank God he ended up being okay. But the potential of him not being able to walk, he was potentially going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. But I just knew very clearly like what the steps were to take and that the decisions that we would need to make. Like I saw like options, like if he made this choice, this could happen to us and our family. But if he made this choice, this could happen to us and our family. And I remember just saying it to him and he trusted me. And so I guess like, life B opened up for me. And so again, like just very things that I now know are psychic predictions or mediumship coming through, giving messages to family, friends, loved ones that I trusted. It just became undeniable. And I was like, okay, I just have to find a teacher. And so once I did, it was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this my whole life. I just didn't know that that was mediumship because for me, I see spirit in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
Or at that time, it was more, inside my mind versus outside of me.
Mm.
And so I was like, oh, okay. And, once I said yes, it just, there was no turning back. It just happened so quickly. And I was full time into development and then eventually started doing healing sessions and readings and all of the things. And so now fast forward, here we are almost 9.5 years later. I just can't even imagine my life doing anything different.
Right. It's just though we were born. I know for a fact that I was born
Mhm.
um, to serve, and
Yeah.
also the fact that I always, and as a child, because we get until 7 years old, we are in that trance, right?
Mhm.
And then all the, you know, constructs that we grab and the teachings don't do that because it's going to be do that, that person is bad because they do that, all these little pieces that we they were probably well intended, and but they deviate from that channel connection, right?
Mhm.
Because we stop listening inside
Yeah, absolutely.
and we just try to depend as a survival or fitting in. So many stories, to to connect, but we disconnect. And if we just have that moment of and just listening to what it is that we are being given.
Mhm.
I never doubted. I remember being, when I came to the city and at 13, the kids in school, my mother put me in a boarding nun school and a German from the Amazon, no shoe, no school really. It was a real learning, I never heard religion before either. So I was a freak to the kids, right? And it was quite big. So like around 13 and a half, I kind of closed it, the channel.
Mm.
And I was like hiding what was going on and my knowing some perceptions, some downloads. I was like, oh no, this isn't good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, that's the thing with children. It was so lovely when I heard that you did that because she connected you.
Yeah, she allowed me to remember
Mm,
myself.
right.
And it was such a blessing, and and her, I mean, just how open she was. And maybe because I was also so open to it, like I didn't try to get her to quiet down. I would ask her questions, and the things that she would share with me was just, it's wild because I talk to her about it now and she's almost 17 and she doesn't remember a lot of the things that she would share with me.
Mm.
Um, but I'll show her drawings and then she'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, I remember. So she's sort of in that, like you said, that sleepy
Right.
state. But it is a conversation for myself and for with my kids. Again, trust your intuition, trust that divine knowing, like listen to that feeling, And I use different language with both of my kids because they're just so different in how they perceive.
Right.
I try not to use the word psychic or mediumship because it just seems so.
Yes.
But for them anyway, they're like, Mom. Even though it is, they know what I do, but it's just I try to change the language for them in a way that they can understand and or feel. And I do really fun exercises with them when we travel or when we're hanging out. Like I call it third eye don't lie, and I'll do playing cards and I'll have them perceive the cards using their
Oh,
psychic
wonderful.
intuition gifts, and that's always really fun because they're like, oh my gosh, I got that. I'm like, yes, just keep exercising it. And
Right.
so it's nice to see my daughter at this age have that strong sense, where she feels things and all of that stuff. But again, she's now at the age where she's questioning everything. Like, what is this life? And she's very, she's on this like exploratory journey of metaphysics and science and religion. And so I just observe because I want her to be curious. I want her to ask questions. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
I am super happy that you don't put labels on things because, people says to me, "Oh, you're a healer." I'm like, "No, you are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I say. I'm holding the
You are."
space. I always say I'm like a
Right.
mirror. Yeah.
Hold on. I have a genius teacher that I'm going to turn you on,
Hmm.
Gary Strauss,
Hmm.
that he's got a huge course in holding space, and uh, the Life Institute, the Life Energy Institute, I'll introduce you to, is just lovely uh, because for most part, as you know, people don't want to be fixed, they want to be heard.
Ex- oh my God. Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And that's what I teach my clients. I was like, while I always tell them, I said, I'm listening to the words that you're using and I'm paying attention to a frequency in the field. And my guides will always reference it as, oh, that's an untruth in the field, right? And so I said, if I witness you as ill or sick, I'm not doing you. I'm not helping you in any way. As you're sharing information with me, I'm visualizing you as whole and as healthy and as vibrant and as confident. And so when they leave, they always feel like, oh my God, I feel so much better. And they're like, you. And I'm like, no, 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 that was you. You were open to the experience. You were open to wanting to make the shift. And now you're going to leave here today. And hopefully you feel inspired to continue your journey. Right.
And this is when we're ready too, no?
Exactly. Exactly.
Because we can strive before and it seems so foreign.
Hmm.
And then when it's there and ready, we like, oh, it's just not even something. It just is.
It just is. Yeah.
We own it for real, right?
Well, I can't even imagine my life any other way now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
was just talking to my husband about this the other day, and he was saying, "Oh, I feel like I need to raise my vibration," which I thought was kind of an interesting choice of words. And he said, "Do you ever get stressed out?" I'm like, "Of course I do, but when something comes in, then that's when I go do my work. It's information for me. Like I have." So that like the stress that I used to get when I was younger, because when I was younger, I was such a control freak and oh my gosh, my emotions, and I just was all over the place. And just over the last 10 years, just gathering all these tools and experiences. And I'm so lucky that I get to meet amazing people. So I get to see it reflected back to me in the work, right? So I'm like, but now things don't hit me like they used to because I know deep in my heart everything will be okay. It's just what is this experience? Why is this happening in this moment? What is this here to teach me? I kind of look at things a little bit different than I would have 10 years ago, you
Sure.
know?
But that's the beauty of the evolution, right? Because, you know, we have taught so much of good, bad, bad,
Yeah.
good,
Mm-hmm.
up and down. We are in a dual planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's got night and day, hot and cold,
Mm-hmm.
happy and sad. I mean, we cannot if we didn't have an event that it wasn't that positive, we could never know joy. So we
Exactly.
don't have that contrast, right?
Mm, exactly.
Our body is left and right, and it's different. You look at yourself, it's different. And the you know, all the caduceus and the chakras and all. You have the right, the left, you have the moon, you have the sun, and everything is such a complement. People has a battery, they don't realize we are a battery. We're
Mhm.
electrical beings,
Yeah.
that we run 90, like 80% water, you know, and the conductivity uh, is so important, Jessica, for us to guide people to understand that not only we know this, I mean, this is nice, thank you, but we have been through millions of lives and we are perfect. We don't get, you know, you can burn us, you can drown us, you can blow us away. That spirit is eternal and amazing. But at the same time, to listen the inner,
Mm-hmm.
listen to the inner, not so outside.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I got pulled in a week and a half, and all the people that I know, they doing the work. They were like, "I feel really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the energy just put me in a place where I had no choice but take care of myself."
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was a huge message for me 12 months ago. It was like it was this knowing of like, you need to prepare your energy because something is shifting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not from a fearful place. It was just like this this container, right? Is like it's shifting. And so, and the way that I was working prior is not going to work for me moving forward. It's you know, you have to honor your vessel and be like, because you know, I love this work so much and I love helping people and I love, you know, learning. And I just, this is the one thing in my life that I'm like, oh, this is what passion is, you know, like I really, really just love all of the things that I've been learning and experiencing, you know. Um, and spirit would always remind me, but yes, you're here in the physical world, you know, don't forget to exercise. Don't,
Right.
I'm like, oh
Right.
yeah, 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 you know, right?
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
forget to, you know, but you know, again, I think that, you know, we obviously we've seen so many things happen in the last 5 years that have shifted consciousness and shifted just how people show up and how we're working and how we're living. And I do feel another shift is coming, right? And so I think that for those of us, like you said, that are holding space, it's like, oh, we got to trust that what we've been teaching, that people fully understand it. You know, something my guide said is like, they keep reminding me, be the lighthouse. You don't have to run and save everyone. Be the lighthouse.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you know what is interesting, because I knew this, and you know, we forget, right? We get in trance and something, and when energies are heightening the way
Mhm.
they are right now, and it's fast and it's big and it's so much information for us coming in, the body goes, look, you know, yeah.
Yeah, the body's like, what is happening? You know,
Right.
like what's, yeah, the sense of safety in the physical body is like, hey, what's going on here? There's a disruption. And like even for myself, a lot of the tools that I really leaned into the last 14 months is very somatic, you know,
Mm.
the unconscious. It's like, okay, how can I return to a very somatic state of breathing? And because again, like I have this warrior energy that I was born and raised with. And so I like to go, 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 go. And it's like, no, 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 no. How can you
I
just be
am the
still
same.
present? You know?
Yeah,
Um,
I
and
do.
so yeah, you know what I mean? And so I was like, oh, this feels yummy. You know, this
Yeah,
feels good.
yeah,
Um, and so yeah, so it'll be interesting just to see over the coming years, you know, just how everything we've been carrying or learning or
yeah.
processing, how that's going to support us in the years moving forward.
What I've been realizing after, because I felt like I was putting in a Vitamix or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's happening. Now things are integrating,
Yes.
and the integration doesn't have that much. It's very much of an essence.
Mhm.
It's very interesting, Jessica,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, yesterday I was listening to a little one that you know, he declared he was gonna kill himself. And so when I was there in the presence of it, and it's always for me a moment that I'm, oh gosh, you know, because anything can trigger and it can be totally out of my hand. I just, you know, like, look, I'm here. I'm doing what you told me. I am
Yeah.
following through. So you're gonna have to step in this one because I try not to get sympathetic
Hmm.
because I spend a lot of me and also I don't help that way.
Yeah.
I don't do anything. But in that moment that he was saying with such a determination and he had this reasoning that makes sense to him, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where to go but to trust, to trust, like you said, to hear and to trust. Meantime, another part of me, I'm like, okay, because
Hmm.
and giving it all because I do give it all, but I have to be out here somewhat to be able to discern what is really happening, not what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
Hmm.
I don't know about your clients, but the clients come with and you know with everything that they don't want.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, we can map it if we don't have a destination.
Yeah.
What would that look like? What would you want to feel like? What
Hmm.
is the ideal dream for you? Or,
Hmm.
you know, because I do dream builder, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
building your dreams. Um, in that, and what do you do with babies? Because I worked for a long time with a midwife.
Hmm.
I used to cranial babies when they came out. And
Hmm.
you do work with babies too, no?
Well, I work all most of my work, 99.9% of my work is done distantly.
Right.
And I work with over the years, it's depending on the season. I work with mothers who are wanting to bring in children. Maybe they're having a difficult time bringing in a baby. I've worked with mothers who have unfortunately have lost children, and I've worked with mothers who have very sensitive children, toddlers and things like that. And so it kind of ranges from here to there.
Mm.
And then I go through phases or which I'm in now, where people are losing their loved ones. And so I'm supporting them through their cancer treatments and things like that.
Mm. Mm.
And then I go through seasons where I'm volunteering time to search for missing persons or people who have gone,
Mm.
maybe left their families, so it just changes. But a lot of my work is based in the womb. Like I would say I'm a womb worker.
Nice.
And I love to work with belief systems and intuitive healing. And I blend in shamanic tools. And it's just very intuitive based on the client and what they're bringing forward during that time. But um, yeah, it just depends. It depends on the season, really, of where I'm at and usually where the stars and the moon are. I'll get
Right.
like an influx of certain sessions. Like a couple weeks ago, I'm like, this is very interesting. I've had 4 clients in one week who have family members who have severe mental illness that have come through, and they're in the living, and they're living with this mental illness, um, schizophrenia, and like things. I'm like, oh, interesting how seasons come, and then I'm working with a certain energy type or ailment or condition, you know, and I don't, and I always ask my guides, like, why is this happening? You know, why, like, why now this? I went through a phase where I was working with spirits on the other side that had taken their own life. And I was like, okay, so I was in a season of spirits of that nature. So it really is. I always, my guides always say, we're teaching you to be in different frequencies so that you know it when it comes in, you know? So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. So it's very interesting, you know.
Yeah, it's like
What's
a wake up.
what's your astrological sign?
Ooh, I am Aquarian, Aquarian.
Oh, okay. Okay. So my son's in Aquarius.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm a Libra sun and a Leo
Okay.
moon, and a Virgo rising, but I'm a 12th house baby, you know, so I have like a lot of fun experience through the 12th house and through the water houses.
Yeah, I can
So
feel you, Virgo. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Virgo. Yeah, yeah. Virgo. My mother was a Virgo. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm Aquarian, Aquarian. My husband is Aquarian too. It's
Is
Aquarian,
he?
Aquarian. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not Aquarian. Yeah, we such a air, right? And
Yeah, my son's in Aquarius. My
yeah,
husband's a Pisces and my daughter's a Cancer. And then I have two Cancer risings and I have a lot of water around me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. The Pisces are a challenge for me.
Are they?
Yeah, they always been. I don't know. We get in there and they're like, "Whoop." I'm like, oh, what just happened? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that
No, I have a
certainty just flew away. And I love fish though.
yeah.
Love fish. Yeah, I like that flowy and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's so wonderful because your work there with in the womb and all is like surfing the occasion records,
Mhm.
and meeting that. I had four children that touched and go in my life. They left their bodies
Mhm.
when babies.
Mhm.
And so I have one daughter, and yeah, and it took me a while to be able to digest that. I
Yeah.
was kind of really like, wow. I know all of the soul journey thing and all that, but when it's these moments, you kind of like, why or what
Yeah.
happened or
Mhm. You know,
yeah,
I love holding spaces. Like I like working with women in groups, doing womb journeys. What I learned very quickly is people are like, whoa, womb. I don't know if I want to go in there. And I was like that too, you know, when I
mm,
first experienced my first womb healing and womb journey. But then once I realized, you know, where our power is as women, and I was like, oh, okay. And so I, you know, did like a year and a half of just my own womb work with my own facilitator and then quickly fell in love with it. And so like this Sunday when I was telling you I had an event, it was all womb work, you know, and it was just so powerful. And so, you know, but when I left, I was like, ooh, I'm feeling the shed of not only myself, but the container of all the women that were there, you
yeah.
know. And so yeah, but it's definitely the work I'm most passionate about is holding space from there. You know, I love watching women reconnect with that space and like realizing the power that is within them and their intuition and how they can create. And
Yeah.
there's something really magical about observing people
What
reconnecting to
is
themselves in that.
your what is your feeling or whatever they can send us right now? Um, I, a lot of mothers right now, they have the baby and they go straight to work.
Mm,
So it's no breastfeeding for most part, or you know, the oxytocin that is so prevalent and so important for the growth of a child. I learned that because of me, that my
mhm,
mother didn't, gave me away a little, basically newborn, and that oxytocin, that lack of holding and the feeding and the and I was talking to my friend. I don't know if you know Bruce Lipton.
mhm,
Yeah, he's lovely. I can invite you. We have a meeting every month, and I asked him for the sake of the children that I work with. And he said, well, what happens is in the school, actually, this month, we working on that too. Um, the babies that they didn't get breastfed or hold as an infant, they become as isolated later on and very angry, aggressiveness. All of that happens from that lack of connection at that moment and that time.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, that's part of what I got this reactivity. Mm?
Mm,
I recognize things that they seem abusive to me or
mm,
inconsiderate to me, and I have a reactive moment in that one. And I'm
yeah.
working on it very much so. But I'm telling you, it's. What would you say? What do you think your perception is bringing in right now? The fact that it's so much of that going on, so many mothers leaving these little ones with formula.
Well, my guides will show it to me again when I work with mothers, or if I hear, I'll just give an example of a client just recently. Um, she was feeling disconnected to her birth mother. She's a grown woman, right? Her mother raised her. She had her mother her whole life, but she had felt this disconnect. I picked up on like an emotional disconnect, and almost as if she came in with this story of, I need to mother my mother. So my guides had said, we need to track her in utero. So I said, okay. So I asked her higher self, bring me to the time in utero when you were within your mother's belly. And so then I got to hear and feel and experience the things that her mother had gone through. And then I got to experience and feel the things that her mother had gone through, like picked up on while she was in her mother's belly. Right. And so there is this like frequency, or this like, my guides will kind of relay it to me as if, when you're in an elevator and like the music is playing in the background, you're like, I don't know the song, but I kind of know the words. And you're like, how do I know the words? It's kind of like that. That imprint is sort of, um, we want to say, inherited into the child and into, these things. And so what my guides will have me do through ancestral healing is we unplug the belief system that they came in with. And what's really incredible is when I said the story of her mother and her mother's mother, she just started bawling hysterically because she said, oh my God, that is very, very true. And this is the disconnect that I have with my mother now. So the intention for me is to reconnect the mother to the, to her mother and so on. And so what I have gotten to witness in the last 10 years is by working with women, then their mothers end up coming to me and their sisters and brothers end up coming to me. I work with families, which is really, really cool. And so my guides will never show me that it's like, it's forever a detriment. It's just having the awareness of, oh, wow, I might keep people away from me because I didn't know unconsciously, I didn't feel that expression of love or touch or whatever the story is, depending on the circumstance or the mother and the child. And so they kind of bring it to me in that way. It's like we're just untying
Yeah.
a thread or a story, or we're disconnecting that song, and then they'll bring in a higher belief system around that story with that intention of like, okay, the seed is now replanted and you get to water this new story. If that makes sense. So I think that what comes up probably the most for me is when I feel that connection or that disconnection. It's usually a story of abandonment. And then I'll go, okay, but what's the true story? Like, then I'll listen even further. So they'll kind of show it to me in like layers, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, oh, I feel abandoned. Okay, well, what was the first time you felt abandoned? And then they'll bring me to like a timeline. I might hear age 4, 5, 6. And I'm like, okay, what was going on at age 4, 5, 6? And then I'll hear a story or an experience that was going on in the household. And my client will validate and or go, oh, that feels very familiar. And if they don't fully grab it, I'll say, well, where does it feel familiar to you in this moment? And they'll say, oh my God, it's in my throat. And I say, okay, let me untangle it. Because I'll see it as like these like little entanglements before I get to the root of something,
Right.
right? But ultimately, what I love about the womb expression is that once we like untangle that energetic binding around the story, they'll actually feel like this emotional release. And 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, my mom just texted me. So
connected.
yeah, so they feel it. So
That's
I've been really fortunate because I've been working with women in from like this perspective for many years now that I've gotten to actually see families mend, which is really, really amazing. And then just see
amazing.
women change because they come to me, every 3 months or sometimes, every couple of weeks, depending on what they're moving through. Or maybe now their mother is at the end of their life. And they're like, I just have these things I want to fix. And their mother's not here with me, but their mother is here with me because like psychically, and I'll invite their loved ones in to say, what's the story? What's weighing
Mhm.
down the family line? How can we heal the story? Things like that. So my guides will always show me that nothing is fixed. That makes sense,
Right.
right? Nothing is fixed. So they don't really get so much into like, I understand what you're saying, like the connection piece of like the mother to the breast or the skin to the skin, the difference between like vaginal birth and C-section birth. Like, obviously, there's different things that can happen biologically and like things like that, but they never show me as it's completely fixed. Like it can't be changed. It's like, no, 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 we can unravel that belief system, or we can work on that, as they call it, untruth in the body.
Yeah.
And once they have the awareness of the untruth, again, I'll feel the expansion and expression in the body. That makes sense. It's like an
Yeah.
offload of energy.
Yeah. And that the thing is that a lot of these kids that I work with, uh, nothing ever really connected
Mm,
because they're now from hand to hand,
yeah.
they get transfer and they get, so they haven't really reconnect, and that's the work that
Mm,
I do as best I can,
yeah.
because then they go to the system or they go to that, and so that's why I like, um, I want to call it hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like, because it's a journey. What I take, like
Absolutely.
you describing the same thing right now,
Mhm.
the
It is.
journey of reconnecting with that part that, and the Indians that I grew up with, well, the tribe that I grew up with, the Quero Indians, we call it illumination, but
Yeah.
it's called soul retrieval.
Absolutely.
Little
Uh-huh.
pieces that got somewhere in the timeline, um, you know, they stood there, shut down or shut down. I don't want to
Mhm.
give it a label because I don't
Mhm.
know. They,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. My guides will always show me, like what you're talking about, that reclaiming of self, and I have a handful of women that were adopted, and they have like their birth mother or father that they have zero connection with, but they have their adoptive family that they have connection with.
Yeah,
And my guides have always said, not only for those specific clients, but even for myself and my other clients, is that we are on this journey of reclaiming
yeah.
our truth of who we are. And the first place that we can start is by connecting with our lineage in some way. So whether it's through food, through books, through like visiting locations and things like that, like it actually sparks that sense of remembering in the cellular DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And so for young people, I know, especially when we're in trauma, it's harder, right? Because there's like a lot of story that tells us that things are going to be difficult for us, or what our environment is in, and
Right.
things like that. And so when I have clients that are in that state of mind, it is soul retrieval work, 1,000%.
Yeah. Because I can do all my work, but then they go back
Mhm.
to the system or to, whatever they're being holden. So, yeah. So far, I haven't lost one child, but thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing because I think, like you said, like even the work that you're holding space for, it is planting that seed of light and expression.
Yeah,
I think that it does make an impact whether we realize it or not. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because you're
yeah,
giving them that sense of love and light
yeah,
that, and I do think that the body wants to remember it and the soul wants to remember, right? And so it's like,
yeah.
okay, and so thankfully they have someone like you that's going to anchor that light and that, and honestly, like you said, that like I see you, I see,
Right.
I hear
That's the
you,
thing. I see
right?
you.
I
I
see you.
feel you.
And I tell my clients that all the time. I go, while you're talking to me, I'm listening to the lower belief of, oh, I feel abandoned in this morning. I'm like, or,
Right.
I'll hear the
Right.
body say, I feel
Yeah.
abandoned, or I feel whatever. And I'm literally saying psychically to the body, you are so loved. You are so worthy of receiving this love, not only in this moment, but from now moving forward. And they can't hear me verbally, but then all of a sudden they'll say, my gosh, I just feel so much love in this moment. I'm like, wonderful. Right. So the body hears it, and so the energy field, it does express it. And I do believe that energy matches energy. And so if we're bringing in all that love, which I know you're doing, right?
Yeah.
I could see just even in
Yeah.
your expression, they're
I
going to feel.
usually talk to the higher self, and that
Mm-hmm.
when they're very angry, they they will get more angry if I said, "Oh, you lovely," or "You wonder." So I talk to the higher self.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I say it like to the bot, like they can't hear me verbally, but I'm talking psychically, and
Yeah,
then they'll feel it. It's
because
just
I
really
learned
interesting.
that because they got more upset and they're more
Yeah,
angry. Like, don't tell me that because I don't know that it's true, right? And I'm
yeah,
like, okay, I'm not doing that again.
yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you mean. It's like when you talk to the field, but they feel
yeah,
it. They
yeah,
feel it.
because they
And there's
haven't
always some
really.
resistance too, right? Like I remember being a young teenager, and I was, you know, when I tap into my daughter's now almost 17, but when she went into high school, I was like, my little 14, 15-year-old self got really activated. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how irritated and frustrated and upset I was during that time because my brother was going through so much and I felt like all the attention was on him and why aren't you seeing me and hearing me and it's just you had pushed it down for so long. I'm like going to be 49 this year. So it's like, oh, I didn't realize that was there until my daughter went into high school and I started seeing her.
Yeah,
She would share certain things with me and it would bring me back to high school and oh my gosh, I remember people would, talk to me and I was so angry on the inside. And I was like, oh, you don't understand. Like that whole,
yeah,
but there
yeah,
was a spark, there was a spark that was always there because I always had this voice in my head that's like, oh, I know they're right. I'm just being stubborn in this moment. Or I'm just angry about, our
yeah.
circumstances and things like
I think more, I think the word anger is used in a general
that.
way
Mm-hmm.
because I see more of pain, I see
Mm-hmm.
more of frustration,
Yeah.
I see all
Resentment.
these lash outs that they are more in that realm than they
Mm-hmm.
are, I'm gonna get out and
Yeah.
the anger is more of like a dog will do if they see something scary that they bark and they seem fearsome, but they're only dealing with letting the other side know, look, don't do that because
Mm-hmm.
it's not allowed here. This is my
Yeah.
space. I think it's more of that for me,
Mm-hmm.
but I get it totally. And I grew up and then I didn't trust
Yeah.
because I figure these kids don't understand. How come they cannot know that that star does that or this plant is talking and that? Because I grew up like that,
Yeah.
with
Mm-hmm.
natives that in the Amazon, oh gosh, the movie Avatar is
Mm.
fully real. And I told the director that 'cause I used to work in the film industry. And and I said, you really know the jungle? And he goes, yeah, I spent 6 years studying,
Wow.
and he knew the connection, and the connection of the spine with the tree and the mother and all that, that is so lovely, yeah. So I always, Jessica, kind of grew up, I isolated myself because I didn't have that connection. The other people understood that I could read things, that I can hear things, that, yesterday somebody called me and I said, oh yeah, your neck, you're the back of this and that. And she goes, how do you know that? And I said, I don't.
Mhm.
I really don't.
Mhm.
You, buddy, just told me,
Yeah,
please tell her about this.
exactly.
I don't. So growing up a few years back, I was like, I'm 78.
Wow, you look so young,
78. Okay.
girl.
So I I have done a few steps And once in a while, I'm like, I know that I'm here to serve. I know that it's not like, oh, I'm a senior citizen now. And that's funny because this country does a lot of that. They
Yeah, I
send
know.
me hearing aids and all these weird things, falling down devices.
My mom said the same thing. She goes, I don't want to go to the senior center because everyone's really seniors. I'm not a senior,
I
even though
know.
she's so young at heart.
I totally, I'm like, fine. Because you know what? I didn't have programming.
Hmm.
So I don't know what that should look like or what should happen. I just don't.
Yeah.
Oh, when your eyesight, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm good.
Yeah.
That programming, and I think the work that you and I do, and that sweet Lynn does, that,
Yeah.
oh my God, because let's talk about that story.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you meet
Well,
Lynn?
in the hypnotherapy school.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, she's amazing. Like,
I fell in love right away.
yeah, her and I
Her
we became best
sparkle and her
friends.
light. And then when she shared the story of her being given away and then
Yeah.
given back 10 times, what? How did you give a baby back? A itty bitty baby in a matter of a year
Hmm.
because she wasn't even given the chance to be a little more baby or something.
Hmm. You know,
I was like so taken. I was like, wow,
yeah. And her work that she does for the community and for the collective and for her clients
amazing.
and
Yeah,
it's just she's incredible. She's incredible.
I'm grateful, but I had a talk. I said, you know what? The next one up, can I skip the hurtful part? I will remember what I need to do. I promise you, I'm gonna be AJ okay, but please, I don't want to go through this again because I went through so many things. Deadly cancer, that they spare
Yeah.
me, thank you. Because I said, you need to move the date because I'm not done and I know you brought me here to do something. I appreciate the test,
Yeah.
but kill it. Please.
Isn't that the story of those of us that do this work? We're like, oh, I mean, how much more can I give?
I
It really
mean,
is. I'm always like, I know, I promised, I made a devotion, I'm doing the work, but can I just have like through a month of just being human? Just can I just so true. It is so
tame
true.
it down, please. That's what I was telling the other day. Because I was so out of it and it's so much
Yeah.
going on. And I said, am I supposed to be leaving now?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was very firm. I say, you need to let me know that I'm leaving because it's people and animals and all kinds of things depend on me. So
Hmm.
you need to be clear on this one. Give
Yeah.
me a good sign
Hmm.
because I, this is going to be a little too much of a laundry,
Yeah. I mean,
you
and
know?
in the space you're holding too. I mean, like you said,
Yeah.
I like to reference that as like those of us who are holding the light in the shadow, right? Like we're working
Mm,
to expand the light through the shadow, and
yeah.
it's
But
where it
it's
is.
easy to do other things and these little ones, yeah. I didn't know that a 5-year-old can commit suicide.
Wow. I mean, just the thought of, oh,
Wow. Wow. Right?
yeah.
Wow. No. It's where do they get that? I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
mean, babies now, they right away grab things. I remember babies then, they were like, "Ugh," for a while with the little heads going all over the place. Now they come ready, you know what I mean? It's
It's
like
so
crazy.
true to see like the difference in because I work with a lot of mothers and children, And just to see the frequency over the last 10 years of the kids that are coming in, and then the kids that are coming, like
Oof,
each, you're like, whoa, they're so highly sensitive. Like they're just so
nice.
aware and they know, like,
Yeah,
and it's,
aware.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me because I mean, I know we all come in with this like sensitive energy, but it's like to see, then I'm sure you see the same thing too, where you're like, okay, when I started that, just to see how, like, 'cause what this is what will happen with my clients and their children. They'll come in and I get to see how they see through their eyes, and I'm
Okay.
like, whoa, you see all this because it's just like a such a different way of reading information.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, this is wild. Like, it's going to be fascinating just to see how these children evolve over the next
Amazing.
10 years with the telepathic
Amazing.
communication and the healing abilities and yeah, it's going to
Yeah,
be,
we were in a group the other day that we planting, teaching them how do the tomatoes grow, the base on the, so they have a little connection to
yeah,
that they don't come in cans or packages.
yeah,
So here I am doing that, and it was a 5 year old. It was a 5 year old, and um, the lead woman said, "Oh, let's find." And I'm thinking, okay, uh, she said, look it up in the phone. And I was like, because I try to disconnect that when I'm doing that sort of thing. I always am attentive because of the kind of clients that I work with.
yeah,
So I can't just like, no more phone, because
hmm,
something can be a call that is needs to
yeah,
happen. Boom.
yeah,
And so I forgot that I turned it off. And the little one was observing, 5. He was observing, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" He grabbed the phone, turned it on, and it said code to open it up. Grabbed it, and he found it.
uh-huh.
I
Do you know
was
how,
even able to turn the phone on. I didn't know where to look. How did this little boy knew where to look?
yeah, exactly. You can't get away with anything with these kids these days. Like my son, he's just turned 12 and he figures out my past. He was like, I just know it. I don't, he's an Aquarius, by the way. And he's like, and I purposely will make a word out of the numbers because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to use my typical like my birthday,
Yeah,
like the numbers that
yeah.
I'm like, I'll come up with a word, but he figures it out and he's like, ha, and he thinks it's a game. I'm like, you're a little sneaky. Like, yeah, it's a funny thing.
Yeah, because I have it in Spanish and Castilian. I have numbers, I have symbols, I have all of it. And they just get in things,
Yeah, I do.
but they're so fast. And my mother really believed in extraterrestrials,
Hmm. Yeah,
and I do too.
so do
Es-
I.
Especially when I lived up in Peru,
Yeah.
the NASCAR place where all the landings and all the
Hmm.
and we used to call them the star people.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I grew up. I mean, and I grew up in the desert. And so you live in the desert,
Yeah,
you experience some, I
yeah.
felt some weird things in the desert. And I ended up I moved out of the desert when I was like 22, and then I moved to the beach where I am here now. But then when my husband and we ended up purchasing a desert property in Yucca Valley near Palm Springs and Joshua Tree.
Okay,
And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot this feeling.
right. It's
It's a
really
vibe and it's very, yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, this is the frequency that I lived in my entire life.
it's the
There they
light,
are.
because I remember. I mean, it was almost no space in the sky that it
Yeah,
was not a star.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was just
exactly,
amazing.
exactly. And you're like, wow. And it's just it's a different feeling, you
Yeah,
know.
and what part of the ocean? Where are you in the ocean part?
Yes, I live in Hermosa Beach, and
Ah,
it's considered LA County, like
yeah.
LA, but it's its own little bubble, and it's very.
I love Hermosa.
Oh my God, I love it here.
Yeah, I
And,
love it. And it's
yeah,
just really rare to be able to find a good place that is
yeah.
so, yeah. And I have a home in Mar Vista.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we kind of neighbors there. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
like going. I told Steve today, I said, I really feel that I need to go to to LA. I really like the feeling of the ocean,
Yeah,
feeling.
it is such a beautiful pull, you know, especially like you said, when it's funny because when I do readings in the different locations, right? So our main house is where we live here is in Hermosa, but for some time I had a place in Big Bear that we just sold in this last November. But the sessions there were so different than when I would do them here at the beach, and then when they're desert, they're just so it's just so different. Each
I know.
frequency is so different depending on the land spirits and like all the things,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, but there's something about the ocean, and maybe it's because I have my moon's in the 12th house, which is like, so maybe that's what makes me feel like so
Okay.
comfortable, you know? Maybe
Yeah.
that's, well, I'm not sure, but there's something about it here that I can't even visualize myself leaving anytime soon. And my husband's like, oh, I wonder if we're going to migrate once the kids are, in college and things like that. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like though this will always have like this pull, so we'll see, you
I
know.
actually been doing that. Funny that you said that. And now that I'm here with you, you have this you have this really golden powered energy that it really did me a lot of good.
Mm,
Just being with you, it did me
no.
so much good. I feel expansive now. I feel, uh, because something about me 4.5 years old came up yesterday. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I'm in the regression school chapter now, and this is medical stuff, so it's a little
Ooh, I
tense.
love it. I love
Not
it.
only that, but the English,
Hmm.
and they're a little starched.
Well, what's funny is because we were supposed to meet last week, right? And I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we can schedule because I got like
Yeah.
this migraine, and I just wanted to make sure I felt really good when we met today, or when we met on our conversation. So I was like, do you mind if we move it? And then I had my event on Sunday with my friend Trish, who's a native medicine woman from Peru. She's Peruvian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was doing her work in womb work while I was doing womb work. We did this thing together. And it's so funny because this morning I was like, oh my gosh, I was like getting ready for our conversation. And I was like, there's just like a similarity. And then when you told me, you just shared that you're also from Peru, I'm like, oh, I almost feel like you guys should meet. I think you guys would have like really good conversations as well. Um, but yeah, like it's interesting, the synchronicity of,
Yeah, and you open up this whole thing when you remind me that the mother goes through something,
yeah,
and the mother of the mother went through
yeah.
something, and my mom was one of 16,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
my grandma died really young, so most likely she experienced stuff.
Okay, so there we go. See, so my mom is one of 10. Her mom passed away when she was very young, and so she was
Right,
one of the eldest in the Philippines.
right.
And just to share some of my like my mother story healing, or the healing of my own mother. I'm very close with my mother. She's been, she's even lives with me to this day. But when I started doing this work, I was like, what's this disconnect? Like, why do I feel like I don't belong? Like I feel like such an alien in my family. Like, what is this feeling? Like, why do I feel so isolated? And it's just this weird, interesting thing that I was going through. And my guides were like, let's go to the womb, and we're going to take you on a journey. And so then I got to experience my mom's, like, she was in the Philippines, and then she came with rich in family, rich in support, rich in just all the things that were available to her, and came to a country that she did not want to come to at 21 years old, no family, two children. And I was like, and I felt this expression in her that she just did not want to be here.
Mm,
Like, did not want to be on this earth, did not want to be here, she just missed and had a longing for her family that was so, I felt it in my bones when I was tuning into it. And I got all this information from my grandmother, who I never met in the living because she died when my mom was 14, but she's always been a strong force for me and a teacher for me. And she started sharing with me all this information about my mom and what she went through, and how she holds it all in, and you draw it out of her. And she said, I want you to ask her all these questions. She gave me a list of questions when I come out of the meditation. And I was like, I don't want to ask her that. I don't want to like bring up old stuff that might hurt her or make cause her pain. And she goes, it won't. It will actually help heal her. And so I asked my mom and I got out, I was like, Mom, grandma came through and she shared this information with me. And she told me like these three things that you were going through at the time of you becoming a mother and you coming to the United States. And I go, and it's really hard for me to say this, and I don't want to trigger you. And I said, but did you think about wanting to leave the physical plane? Did you think about wanting to leave here? Meaning you didn't want to be on the earth anymore. She started crying. And she said, yes. She goes, it was just, I was so sad that I didn't have my family. I
Yeah.
felt so alone and I felt like an alien here. I
Mm,
felt like, and I was like that. So that was the imprint that I had within me that made me feel like I was so disconnected from the people that I loved. It wasn't the truth.
yeah.
It wasn't the truth. It was just something she was feeling at the time that I picked up on and I took it on as my own story. One of the stories, right? That was one that I got to
I
clear
know,
in the
right?
novel.
It's so many.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? But she was
Yeah,
like,
oh, I totally do.
yeah,
I totally do.
and so
Yeah.
look at the similar story that we have, right? Our grandmothers, our mothers were one of many children. Lost.
Somehow we got in the freeway of karma.
And so I can't even imagine. I think of myself as a mother. My mom has been such a huge part of raising my children. And
Yeah.
I can't even imagine her not being here with me and not being able to feel that and be a part of my children's life. And then for her not to have her mother as she
Yeah.
became a mother,
But
it
you
just
connected me with a few things through just the energy and your passion. The
mhm.
one of thinking, well, my mom and my grandma did my mom, all that story. And also the fact that I always felt dislodged here
Mhm.
because I grew up in a tribe.
Yeah,
I grew up with growing up with the sun coming down with the sun, and also not being so connected to stuff because
yeah,
you know what I mean, and that you were who you were. I didn't know when I was a little child that if I didn't have Nikes, I wasn't good enough,
yeah.
or if I didn't have a phone, I don't belong, or whatever.
Mhm.
It's a whole different tribe.
Yeah. My mom says the same thing. She says she says it's funny that people look at the Philippines as it's as a poverty. She goes, I didn't think I was
No,
poor growing up.
never.
She goes, we always knew we were rich in family. We were rich in
Right,
love. My siblings were
right.
my best friends in the whole world. We had each other. She goes, we had two rooms and we all slept together and
Yeah,
but we didn't look at it as suffering. We loved each
one
other.
room. We had one hut. We picked the space we're gonna sleep. I will
Yeah.
fetch water. The other
Mhm.
one do.
Yep.
We had oil lamp.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I never saw money until I was 13 and a half, 14.
Mhm. Yeah.
I didn't see a store. I had no idea. Now I see Peru that I really don't want to go, with trains going up there, with
Yeah.
buses full of people. That community is what my heart cries for.
I had an opportunity to go to Peru with my friend Trish. So I was just sharing this
Yeah.
with you a couple years ago, and I got to study with an elder there, and it was I have to tell you, the most beautiful, beautiful experience I've ever been a part of. I always say that was like one of my favorite trips I've ever gone on. I, it was the people were so loving, so caring, so just so like I was like they were just like the smile and the love in their heart, and I was just like, oh, this is the life, man.
Because
And so it's
it's
so
the
great.
person that is love.
Yeah,
Is the actual, that moment of richness that you spend
yes,
with that, and that camaraderie and community. Oh, you
yeah,
don't have one of those. Sometimes the crop didn't come up because of the cold, whatever. The neighbor had the potatoes or more quinoa, or we share, or
yeah,
it was just the food will cook on the ground all day.
yeah. Oh yes,
It
yeah,
is a richness of
yeah.
things that, if that's the third world country, and that's what I want.
I know exactly, and that's what I'm constantly reminded of that when I leave the United States and I go around the world. It is just so different in different
Mm,
parts of the world,
mm.
like the connection to family, the slow
Mm.
paced life, the farm to table eating, the like there's no
Right,
rushing. There's
together.
no it's like, oh my gosh. And I always have to remind myself when I come back here because I'm in LA.
Right.
Oh gosh, no, no, no. slow down.
Yeah, but
But,
you're good at LA.
but it's
You're
like,
in a good LA, and Hermosa is fabulous.
I know, but you know what I mean? It's like, no,
Yeah.
that is the way to live. That's the way to live. We've got
Well,
it all wrong,
it's living, not just surviving.
Yes. Like one of my favorite memories is our teacher. He was in his sandals and he had his flute. We're hiking up this, I couldn't breathe. I was like, but he was
No.
just so much joy
Mm,
and pure happiness coming through. And
mm.
he'd come back and he'd smile and he'd be like, come
Yeah,
on. And I'm like,
yeah,
am I in a dream? He's like, Llama's dream. I'm like, this feels like a dream. And just all the
no.
creativity and the creation and the cooking and I was just like, this is just,
Yeah,
I could stay here forever. It
it's
literally felt like it felt like
meaningful.
heaven. It literally felt like heaven. I'm like, this is heaven.
Meaningful, right? It's
It's
so
so beautiful.
meaningful.
It's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
I think you and I we should do some work together.
I would love
I'm putting together here is a beautiful place. It's hot spring place that
that.
it's got the most beautiful surroundings. So you can come and stay here with me.
Mhm.
That to do Lynn is gonna come. That a few of us that we can, empower and share what we have and what
I would love
is
that. I love New Mexico, and
yeah.
I don't know if I told you the last time we talked. I just um, last year I was like, what is this pull to New Mexico? Like I just feel so connected to it. Like I remember the first time I went, I almost started crying because I was like, this is home. I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was doing like a lot of ancestral healing, and there was like a lot of gaps in my dad's side of the family. But I found my great grandparents. They're buried in Albuquerque. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's I definitely have roots
Wow,
that my
yeah,
heart
we
is there.
should go um the Bandelier where they used to live in the inside the rocks, and it's
Oh my God, I would love that.
something so profound. We
Yeah.
going to this Saturday. We're going to our home, and we have a place up in the mountains.
Mhm.
Every morning you get all the deer. This time is so sweet because the mothers bring the babies.
Yeah,
Yeah, that we can do together. I'm so grateful for you.
yeah.
I got a lot of goodness for myself today.
Same. Thank you
Selfish
so
I
much.
am, but I did. I borrowed some of the stuff you said for me because I was feeling a little off.
Yeah,
But it's because all this change, Jesse.
mhm, yeah.
It's all this. And how would you like to title the podcast?
Oh, I don't know. I have to sit with that. Hmm.
Right? Send me that and a photo so we can do
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
and upload it. But I'm super, super grateful. I'm gonna stop the recording so we can chat about it. There we go. I think.